Further discussion, Representative Hanna.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the bill.
To the bill.
Colleagues, I rise in strong opposition to this bill today. And I know that, like you, I have been contacted by the numerous businesses and individuals who will be adversely impacted by the action proposed to be taken today. The business community has been very, very clear. This is the wrong time to pass permanent tax increases on the very people that drive the economic engine of this state. There are many, many good reasons that the people of Oregon are questioning the wisdom of the two tax votes that we are going to take on the floor today. Simply put, the legislature, those of us in this building today, seem to be ignoring the facts of what's going on outside this building, of what's going on with the very people who are going to be impacted by these issues. The businesses that have closed their doors, the businesses on the brink of closing their doors, the businesses who have reduced hours, who have reduced the hours of their employees, who have reduced the benefits of their employees, and in fact, yes, as we just heard, those businesses that have laid those employees off. We know from the last revenue forecast, corporate revenues have absolutely plummeted, down 25.4%, or $234 million from the end of the 2007 session. We know that Oregonians are losing their jobs in record numbers. And yes, that we only trail Michigan in the national unemployment rate, but that 250,000 plus Oregonians are out there saying, help me find a job. And many, many thousands more who still have their job but are underemployed in their current situation. Over and over and over again, I'm going to stand here and remind you that we are second in the nation in unemployment. We have a chance to do something about that, and we have a chance to make it worse. We talk about today this being a revenue issue. These tax increases represent an effort to increase revenue. We don't have a revenue problem. We've got a job creation problem. We have a lack of jobs. It's not a revenue issue if you have people working. We're missing that. This call for permanently higher, there's no bridge in this bill. This isn't a part-time increase. This isn't to get us through a rough spot. This call for permanently higher taxes disregards the economic forecast, as has been mentioned earlier. This call for permanently higher taxes doesn't mean we'll never be able to afford. I'm going to read the numbers again. The current revenue forecast calls for a 17% and 20% growth in the next two biennia following 2009-11. Read the forecast. This isn't temporary. These are permanent increases that you're going to heap on to Oregonians. We also heard a term that this bill increases just enough. Just enough. Really? The tax increase in this bill is so large, we're neglecting to even have a conversation about the 100% fee increases that are part of this bill. When was the last time that you got a 100% increase in something, or you improved your performance 100%, and your teacher or coach or someone said, that's just enough? Come on. Just enough sounds to me like a little bit. Just enough doesn't sound like a 100% increase. Just enough doesn't sound like revenue growth of 33% increase in corporate taxes over the next 2 years. Just enough?
Representative Olson-Yield.
I don't think so. Thank you, Representative. How many businesses in Oregon are experiencing a 33% increase in revenue? How many are experiencing a 33% increase in the number of employees? I submit very few when you go and look at what our corporate revenue looks like. Just enough should make Oregonians a little bit angry. When you say to me, you're going to increase my fee, having nothing to do with whether I'm profitable or not, and it's just enough, as a business person, I want to tell you, I feel a little angry. And I think the letters we've seen on the floor indicate that. They understand that being charged more, having nothing to do with the profit they're making or not, is not fair. This bill we're discussing today simply does make the current situation we're in even worse. It's wrong to label this tax increase as a simple corporate minimum increase. We had a bill on this in this body that was a bipartisan increase that many of you signed on to that would have allowed the corporate minimum to increase. This legislature had the opportunity to pass that plan, and a plan that would have been supported by the business community, but no. What do? We go on a major money grab, adversely impacting the very people we rely on to drive Oregon's economy. We've heard some conversation about the budget. In my opinion, the debate we're having today may not have even been necessary. We've heard from a co-chair who's learning a position, and I applaud that. These are not easy days, and it's not easy to understand this budget process, but I do know this. We put forth a budget, and we put a plan on the table that would have funded a full school year, that would have funded public safety, that would have funded human services, and did not require Oregonians to mail us even more of their hard-earned dollars, did not require them to pay additional tax. The Back to Basics budget could have been called a bridge through the current economic downturn, and it did not rely on tax increases. This body could have followed our lead in examining billions of dollars in ending fund balances that have been described as fungible. Been described as fungible. They're in your financial reports. There's no hiding from that. They're there. Billions. We also could have produced hundreds of millions of dollars in savings to this state should we brought Oregon in line with other states that require contribution benefits by both state employees and elected officials, but no, again, we're not willing to pay. Let's let Oregonians pay for us. Why don't we start carrying a little of our own weight? Unfortunately, this legislature today is still choosing to raise taxes on the individuals and businesses that are absolutely economically essential to our state. I think everybody in this room wants Oregon to be a better place, but we can't sacrifice our economic competitiveness to do that. Higher taxes won't solve our state's long-term problem. The legislature will continue to struggle balancing the budget until this body fully understands that this discussion shouldn't be on how high we can raise taxes. It shouldn't be about whether a 100% increase is just enough or not enough. It shouldn't be about the additional burden we can put on the few people who are making a living and creating a living for others and creating work for others, but it should be on how we can create an environment in Oregon where you can create jobs, where you do honor and respect prosperity for those who drive the economic engine. A stronger economy will always enable this state to fund its most important programs and fund the priorities we all share for an educated and prosperous Oregon. Colleagues, I urge a strong no vote on this bill today.